Hebrew Israelites will make the argument from Revelation 21 that only those of the nation of Israel can enter into New Jerusalem. There are three fundamental issues with this argument. Let's read the text and get into it. Starting in verse 12. It had a great and high wall with 12 gates, and at the gates 12 angels. And the names were written on the 12 gates, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the sons of Israel. There were 3 gates on the east, 3 gates on the north, 3 gates on the south, and 3 gates on the west. And the wall of the city had 12 foundation stones, and on them were the 12 names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. As I mentioned, there are 3 fundamental issues with an argument that says that because the name of the 12 tribes is on the gate, only the 12 physical tribes of Israel can use the gates. First, the text simply never says only the 12 tribes can use the gates. It is an assumption that because the names are on the gates, that somehow access is restricted. It doesn't say the access is restricted. If it doesn't say that, upon what is somebody reaching that conclusion? Their own mind. They've come up with this argument in their mind, and they have imposed it on the text. That is called eisegesis. And if we follow that to its logical conclusion, we come to a real issue in verse 14. Because the gates are built into the walls, and the walls have 12 foundation stones with the names of the 12 apostles. And so by this logic, unless you are one of those 12 apostles, those foundation stones cannot support you because it has their name. And so only the 12 apostles can be supported by the stones to enter through the gate that is part of the wall. Clearly, that's not the intended meaning. So this we can actually dismiss outright because there's no biblical basis for the argument. It is simply an empty assertion that somebody has made up and people have picked up on. However, there are 2 other issues, as I said, that prove that this is not the meaning. The second item is what happens to Abel, Enoch, Noah, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Melchizedek. None of these people were of the 12 tribes of Israel. And yet they're going to be in the kingdom. They're going to enter into the city. So what happens to them? Unless you can explain what gate they enter, you have no basis for argument. And Melchizedek, well, where does he fit in especially? He wasn't a Hebrew. What's the fit? Where does he go? Love to know. And then we get to our third issue, and that is what the text continues to say if we simply keep reading. We go into verse 24 and read from there. The nations will walk by its light, and the kings of the earth will bring their glory into it. In the daytime, for there will be no night there, its gates will never be closed, and they will bring the glory and the honor of the nations into it. And nothing unclean, and no one who practices abomination and lying shall ever come into it, but only those whose names are written in the Lamb's book of life. The nations will walk by its light, the kings of the earth will bring their glory into it. And then what do we see in verse 26? And they will bring the glory and the honor of the nations into it. The nations and the kings of the earth will bring the glory and honor of the nations into it. How are they bringing the glory and the honor of the nations into it if they're not entering in? Clearly they are. Who is entering? Only those whose names are written in the Lamb's book of life, which shows that more than just Israel is written in the Lamb's book of life. More than just Israel will be saved.